has finally arrived. Time for the inaugural Fire and Ice Cup. It's Rugby ATL and the Toronto Arrows looking to collide for 80 minutes in this unique, to say the least, 2021 campaign. Welcome to Life University, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in Marietta. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Second time this year that Rugby ATL and the Toronto Arrows collide. Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico. So many things you could harp on, of course. These are the roommates this year as a result of the pandemic. Toronto's been playing in the Peach State all season long. In fact, of all things, they're your home team here in Georgia today against the side from Atlanta.
Oh, it's a different 2021 for a lot of reasons. This is the first rematch of the season. These two teams know each other well and anticipate a great matchup between the Arrows and Rugby ATL.
Silverware is on the line. We always love that. Something for the boys to play for. Let's take a look at this matchup, dive a little bit deeper. When you talk about the Arrows, they're trying to bounce back from that road loss in the Big Easy. Chris Silverthorne, though, going to stick primarily with a lot of familiar names in his starting 15.
Yeah, the Arrows have made just one change in that starting 15. Joaquin Cuculet, the Argentine international, he's going to miss out on this match after that head-to-head collision last weekend. So Gaston Mires starts at fullback, and Leandro Levas will be coming on in the right wing.
And we do show you that change along that back, where Levas comes off the bench. Mires will have the responsibilities as fullback, but otherwise you've got a reliable man in Lesage at center, your captain.
That's exactly right. This is a very good team, a veteran outfit. They played together, and by and large, a healthy team, and that's what you want coming into Week 8.
Well, both teams are coming off of matches against New Orleans. Of course, for Rugby ATL, that was 2 weeks ago. They're now coming off their bye week. They are refreshed, and they are sticking with a lot of the same 15 that we saw in that win.
They are indeed. Scott Lawrence, he's made 3 changes to the starting lineup. Connor Cook and Damon Torres are out due to injury. So Vili Helu comes on. He gets a start at the blindside flanker. Scrum half is straight swap. Rowan House will take over. And Mark O'Keefe, he takes the place of Robbie Petcher at inside center.
Yeah, you mentioned that lone change there with the 9 on the back of House at scrum half among the 15 today for Rugby ATL. Let's remind you of who's available off the bench today. Anybody in particular you're looking forward to?
Well, you take a look for Toronto, Paul Cellini, Marcello Wainwright. They're going to give away to Adrian Watt and Colby Francis on the bench. And for Rugby ATL, 2 notable additions, USA Eagle prop Chen Swingalewski. He's going to be back there along with Jonas Petrakopoulos. Duncan Van Skalkvik, an extra back in that traditional 5-3 split for Atlanta.
It's a Fire and Ice Cup that's all about the unique, healthy competition in rugby. Chris Silverthorne, Scott Lawrence, a great partnership this year. They are sharing a home, but today they will look to figure out a way to divvy up the points. Only one man will be taking that trophy with his either Arrows or Rugby ATL. Opening kick when you rejoin us next here in Georgia. And we welcome you back to the bonus province of Georgia, as it is the Fire and Ice Cup. Marietta, Georgia has been the home for 2 Major League Rugby franchises here in 2021. Let's take a look at your keys kit for Toronto. How do they bounce back after last weekend's loss at New Orleans?
Well, the Arrows, they need to match Rugby ATL's physicality. They have great backs. They need to get them involved, take the points. Atlanta, a great defense, second in the league in tries conceded, and that is where the goal kicking of Toronto comes in. Taylor Adams, he leads the league in points scored, and almost all of those have come via the boot, and the Arrows really need a full 80. Tale of 2 halves in that loss to NOLA you mentioned last week. Toronto, they need the complete game if they're going to get a victory today.
Conversely, after a grueling trip to Georgia, how does Rugby ATL find a victory here on the road?
Well, a quick start, particularly defensively, as over 50% of the points the Rattlers have conceded this season have come in the opening 20 minutes. Lineouts. The lineouts are going to be a big part in this match. It's a real strength of Atlanta. They've won 82%. More than half of Toronto's tries have originated at the lineout. Both teams know the importance of the set piece. And finally, discipline. Toronto, they lead the league in penalties awarded. You combine that with their goalkeeping prowess, and Atlanta needs to play clean and not give the Arrows free opportunities.
A lot of these guys are becoming household names. These are the 2 you wanted to keep an eye on.
Manuel Montero tied 4th in the league with 6 tries, coming off a brace in that loss to NOLA. The 29-year-old Argentine, an absolute beast, hence his nickname La Pantera. The Buenos Aires native has it all, size and speed and experience, but he is going up against a defensive force in Matt Eaton. 2nd in the league in dominant tackles, 5th in successful tackles. The 28-year-old Quebec native, he knows his Toronto team well, playing on the Canadian national team with a lot of them.
And we are in good hands today. JP Doyle presides over this one with Cisco Lopez and Dave Edwards, our veteran crew. JP doubled as our unofficial singer for the Canadian anthem. Now, there was one other singer, but our microphone was entertaining to pick him up throughout the way. He knows all the words, I can verify. As we are underway, wearing the hoops, as Toronto. Second time these teams have met, as you noted, Kit. They played in the opening week, right back here at Life University.
I'll give you a nod the same. I'll give you a nod the same.
As ultimately Atlanta prevailed 21-14.
Yeah, that was 2 completely different sides. A bit of rust on both of them, as you might imagine, after last year's season called after just 5 matches. They're in fine form here in week 8.
They'll spin it out wide as they found the captain, Matthew Heaton.
Good work to O'Keefe. He is a danger man, ball in hand. Get him touches early.
Those Platinum Blanc blocks have already found their way into the try zone this year. Let's see if O'Keefe finds some success. 4 tries already on this campaign. And the ball, fortunately, winds up with Waitokia.
Very fortunate indeed. The Kiwi able to get it. It went through the hands of Marno Rirlinhays, South African lock.
It looks as though he was taken into touch. And actually, we had a penalty before that ball going into touch, failure to roll away, as seen by, again, our referee, JP Doyle.
Advantage being played there for Atlanta, playing with house money. Why not send it out wide?
Just got in the way of the 9's feet.
Just unlucky, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying.
I know you are. Yeah.
Happens, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not happy about it, but it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, both these teams coming off matches against New Orleans. The difference is Atlanta has had this past week to heal up. They snapped a 2-game skid with that 10-point win against New Orleans. Meanwhile, Toronto, I think they thought they were going to leave New Orleans with a victory. Got off to a 14-0 start in the first half, only to see NOLA Gold claim 22 second-half points in a second-half shutout and a comeback for the win.
Oh, great work here. Look at the maul.
Advantage.
That's the power, the physicality from Rugby ATL.
They're still playing an advantage here with house money.
Give me that number there.
Back to the fullback. Carlos got the missile as support out wide. They're going to bring it back.
Go back here. Woo.
Again, playing the advantage.
2. Okay.
And when that penalty was called, Atlanta was hoping for a penalty try to be awarded, not the case. But all of a sudden, Toronto's going to have their back against the try zone, down a man.
This is huge. It's going to be Andrew Quatrin, the 25-year-old out of Holling Landing, Ontario, the hooker who's headed to the sin bin.
5 seconds, you had to use the ball.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why, if you got going earlier with the maul, that's fine.
Just 3 minutes in and already Rugby ATL with the advantage, and they have dominated the possession early on, and right now just meters away from that opening try.
Well, this is the most successful journey into the try zone, setting up that driving maul out of the line out. Can Atlanta dot it down? They do. Jans van Rensburg with his third try, the South African here in 2021.
Absolutely clinical stuff from Rugby ATL to start it off. The 29-year-old South African hooker, the former Currie Cup man, right through. And you saw the power of the pack from Rugby ATL on 2 occasions, taking it right at Toronto. No response from the Arrows, and a dream start for Atlanta.
So the Toronto hooker gets sent off to the sin bin, and moments later, it's the Rattler hooker dotting it down for 5. Conversion opportunity coming up here, as Carlos will handle the honors to get started. This is a young man they signed right before that trip to Austin. Really excited about the versatility and pace that Adrian provides them. Also with a solid boot to lean on.
4 for 6 in his goal kicking on the season.
Off the upright, and it'll stay 5-0 here early on in Georgia.
Take another look at the ball, the power. Jans van Rensburg right there, able to peel off to the side right at Montero, and nothing Manu Montero can do in that situation. Great go forward from the pack of Rugby ATL.
Back underway with the ensuing kickoff. This half of the pitch, Rugby ATL battling that sun.
Offside! No, thanks.
Only got to see a couple of double headers this year here at Life University when both these teams had home matches. Otherwise, the schedule makers saw it more fit to alternate home and away. And a knock-on called, and again, whether it's intentional or not, essentially any forward pass or any forward contact, unless it's with the boot, the lower leg, is going to be still deemed illegal.
Give credit there to that chase of Taylor Adams. Fantastic stuff on the box kick. Beautiful chase and able to force that knock on.
So Ross Brody will have his first scrum, presumably here. South African in his own right, out of Johannesburg. Saw him represent South Africa in the Olympics, also suiting up with the Sevens.
Yeah, came out of that great college program, one of the top high school programs in South Africa.
Are we okay?
Mr. Quatrin still has the bulk of his minutes to go in that sin bin.
Seconds.
After the penalty on the end of his 5 on the opposite end.
Slow call. Crouch.
Down!
Outside.
Yeah, watch. Will you take one, sir? Yeah.
Bind!
Interesting to see this first scrum. Rugby ATL thinks they have an advantage. We'll see.
Brody will feed it in. Couple of numbers out wide, 1 man to beat, still on his feet, powering his way to the 5. We're finally dragged into touch with no place to go. And understandably, a little disappointment there for Montero. As Rugby Atlanta fired up to get this ball back and denied an equalizer.
A bit of a mistake there, but that's who you want with ball in hand. If you're Toronto, charge down.
And there's your answer moments later. That ball winds up in the loving arms of Mike Shepard, the pride of Brampton, able to dot it down. We're level at 5.
Okay.
Mr. Arrow himself, the 32-year-old lock, began his pro career with the Ontario Arrows, and he made his way through the provincial ranks in Ontario, been there from the very beginning. Great work from the lock, able to charge it down, and all of a sudden we're even at 5 apiece.
Carlos was getting a little too choosy on when he was going to boot that ball. He thought he saw an opening. He was mistaken.
Now, when you say Mike Shepard is a Ontario rugby player through and through, he's been a member of the Ontario Blues since 2013.
It is a reminder of the consistency. So many of these Arrows coming in, season out, know where their teammates are at all times without actually taking the time to look.
Lincoln, you said it, Carlos, dancing a bit too much, should have put boot to ball previously, got around Brode. And then just heads-up play from the 6'4" second rower. Charges it down and dots it down, does Shepard.
What Toronto has done even before Major League Rugby was formed in really building a pipeline. And of course, nobody's going to benefit more than Team Canada getting stronger and stronger as this league gets stronger as well. But you talk about the 404, what Atlanta's trying to build with their own development and so many other teams around this league to continue to grow the game.
So many teams have seen what Toronto has been able to do. So many players homegrown coming out of the province of Ontario. You mix that with the international flavor, particularly from the Argentines and the Uruguayans, and it's a great combination.
Oh, not making the same mistake. Now trying to track down a little 50-50 effort. Atlanta had numbers, and it's just an unfortunate hop. Will it be another bounce that goes the way of Toronto?
Great quick work to the breakdown opportunity for the Arrows.
They've got support out wide, and this is elementary. The Arrows now unanswered, back-to-back tries. This time the captain, Ben Lesage.
Lesage, the 25-year-old out of Calgary, Alberta. We mentioned so many of the provinces represented, but this is great team rugby, going quickly through the phases there at the breakdown, able to get a clean, quick ball out, a beautiful offload to Lesage. And this Toronto team, they exploded earlier this year, 40 points, 50 points in matches. They have the attack to put points on the board. And after conceding the opener, what a response from Toronto.
Meanwhile, Andrew Quatrin's been a spectator during all of this. His time is slowly melting away here in the Fire and Ice Cup.
That's a great point. Toronto's done this down a man in 2 tries. See if they can make it 2 successful conversions as well.
Taylor Adams looks for his 19th conversion. Wide angle, can he sneak it through? The answer is yes.
Adams 12th in Major League Rugby in goal kicking, a 75% percentage. You see it right here.
Can I interest you in 3-on-1?
Now, fantastic stuff. Gaston Mides, the Uruguayan, unselfish, finds the offload to Lesage, but right there he cuts in the defender there into a wide open Lesage.
No official assist for Mason Flesh, who pointed at where he could dot it down with so many options there. Well, kicking game has loomed large, both miscues and fortunate bounces early on.
Well, that's one of the strengths of the Arrows, the kicking game. You've seen it play a factor early on, and Skura certainly can do it as well. The Argentine, a great boot.
Up into the Georgia sky, hoping for a miscue. No such luck. And a nifty offload, but it's coming back as Adams was trying to get Brody involved.
Well, it has been a frantic start to this one.
Gotta stay up.
Just a reminder for our big men up front. Now, of course, when you've got a hooker off in the sin bin, that's going to force Toronto to make that early change.
And we have Jack McRogers, who's come on, the 22-year-old out of Newmarket, Ontario, replacing on the front row. Or Quatrin, currently in the bin for about another 90 seconds.
Quatrin's in there any longer, they're going to charge him for admission. With as much rugby that he has seen unfold in his absence.
Get on the outside. It's a simple instruction. No, it's not. No, it's his shape. He's got to be on the outside. No, that was your
both forward packs pretty happy to have a second to catch their breath.
It's been a track meet.
Down! Come on, Gaston.
Bind!
Most your starting scrum half here today.
Sit! Use it away, use it away, he's gone down, use it away.
Go, go!
Atlanta struck first. All of a sudden find themselves trailing by 9.
Better defensively from the Arrows, quickly there.
Toronto's already matched their scoring output from week 1 against this same side.
Skura to his countryman Montero just couldn't hold on.
Yeah, knock on, but they're still playing the advantage after that ball spilled loose. It fell backwards. So no need to reset.
No, 4-9, 4-8.
Advantage is off now. Just playing a little tennis back and forth and calling for the mark for this uncontested kick.
12, stay there.
And you see the backs getting involved via the boots early, playing a bit of field possession.
Yep.
You're looking at Rory Van Voot. His 7th match on the year.
Missed it first time. First time.
From the exotic lands of Arkansas. Initial dummy. Looked like it might free up space for O'Keefe to work with when he finally got the egg.
Massive tackle there from Parfrey, or O'Keefe would have been in for 5.
Good turnover.
Bautista Escuro, when he sees a fork in the road, he chooses to take it.
What a job from Rumble. He leads the league in breakdown steals and able to rip one away there.
Toronto back to the boots.
If this pace continues, it's going to be which side has the fitness to keep this up for a full 80.
Yep. Thank you.
Rugby ATL back to full strength. Again, found the opening 5, but it's Toronto charging one down with Shepard giving them the lead with the successful conversion after his try. And then subsequent insurance on another ball that bounced away of the arrows.
Yeah, good shift there for McRogers coming on, taking the place of Quatrin when he was in the bin.
So Quatrin will handle this set piece on the lineup. Goes short, almost broken up by Atlanta. And Toronto's still on top of things here. Not wasting any time freeing that ball up, and they try to find Quatrin out wide, and his hand's not up to the task that time.
Scrummer line out.
A hurried ball with him favoring the near touch line.
Gaston Midas, Uruguayan international, able to come away with it, and you see just that poor pass low, and that's difficult for anybody to come up with, but Quatrin just couldn't pull it off the shoelaces.
Hold on. Stay up. No, it's not good enough. You got to do a little better, okay? Keep the park. You got to keep that bind. Stay on this side. You hear what I said to them?
So scrum here for Rugby ATL.
Down.
Crouch. Bind. Sit.
25-year-old will feed this one. Folks, don't forget to download the Major League Rugby app. Up-to-date scores, all the stories. If you enjoy drinking from a fire hose, that's what it's like these days. Major League Rugby putting out so much content.
Advantage.
When it's finally match day, that's when you get to finally take a breath and just take in a solid 80 minutes.
Advantage for Atlanta. See what they elect to do in this situation. I'll say he's going to put boot to ball, see if they can get a line out here. Right now, the way this match is being played, 3 won't do it. You need 5.
And both these teams just got in 5 matches last year. There was a lot of building optimism for Toronto in what was year 2 for the Arrows, coming off that semifinal appearance in their maiden voyage, but ousted by the eventual champ Seattle back in 2019. Of course, Toronto, we talk about these strange circumstances where they call Atlanta home, but mind you, they've never had a normal schedule in Major League Rugby with weather back home in the early part of the slate. Their first year in MLR, we were kicking off the season late February, early March. No hopes of hosting home matches back then, but boy, did they finish strong in 2019 at a couple of great venues, and they were rewarded with tremendous crowd support. I know they are missing their fans in person, but they have appreciated all the words of encouragement they've received now for the past couple of months.
Well supported, whether on the road or at home. I know they're looking forward to getting back to their friendly confines north of the border.
Tackler's out of there. No, 9, you stepped over him.
Toronto, even though they lead, they've had just 36% of the possession early on. It's been Rugby ATL with the majority of the opportunity, ball in hand.
It's a nice crowd here at Life University.
No, that's admin, mate. I can't stop for that.
A lot of folks Living near campus probably recognize many of the faces on Rugby ATL, including their head coach, Scott Lawrence, who does have that coaching gig at Life U on his resume.
Running Eagles, one of the powers of collegiate rugby, and have been for some time. Providing a bit of a pipeline, if you will, to Rugby ATL and to Major League Rugby in general.
Arrows with a lot of meters separating them from their next try.
Number 3, Atlanta, get out. Number 3, get out. Use it away, please. No, you can't. You're offside, boys. Move back. Use it away, 9.
You hear the comments from JP Doyle. Nice job avoiding the subsequent penalty.
Doing a very good job. That's one thing rugby referees do well. They can keep play constant.
Rare touch for the missile. Credit to Toronto, keeping him grounded.
This is some good go forward from the big men. You see those forwards getting involved. They scored out.
Little chip into his own arms, and a knock-on will ultimately squash that effort.
That is very uncharacteristic from Bautista Escura. Leads Major League Rugby in tackle breaks. Came out of that Indu program, one of the powers in Buenos Aires club rugby. And all he had to do, he did everything right.
So hard to recover.
Perfectly weighted kick, just couldn't come away with it cleanly. It may have had eyes for Taylor Adams.
Time. Water break.
Going to have a hydration break here in the opening half.
Okay, right.
Around 72 degrees out. The sun is shining on this Fire and Ice Cup. Right now, it is shining brightest on the Arrows. They lead by 9.
I'm going to speak to them as well. It's not just you. We need an improvement in scrum.
Today's live coverage brought to you by Honda, as well as Puma, official boot of the Arrows. Well, those boots have been put to use as a few nuances to the kicking game on both sides have added up for both tries for Toronto.
Because your loose head fell down. So it's either a penalty against
Atlanta came out early. They took it to Toronto. They marched right down the pitch. They used the power of the maul. Jan van Rensburg is able to find the opener 4 minutes in. Then Mike Shepard, the big lock, charged one down in the 8th. Lesage able to find another in the 10th. 2 successful conversions, and the Arrows this 14-5 lead.
You have a feeling JP Doyle's going to keep an eye on the men with the one on his back.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Toronto with the 3rd best attack in all of Major League Rugby. 22 tries coming into today.
It's just crabbing a little. It's all right. We just crabbed across, Gaston.
Having a few words, particularly there to Gaston Mires, the Argentine international out of Cordoba, former Leicester Tiger.
So let's get steady.
No, pardon me, Gaston Cortés. Mires, the Uruguayan fullback. Even though they're from opposite ends of the Rio de la Plata, you don't want to make that confusion. So, lo siento.
You still owe people money down there?
Bind!
No sé.
Okay.
Set! Through the mark, Atlanta. Through the mark, Atlanta. Doesn't matter. You got to go through. You kept your feet kept going.
Your JP Doyle there. Atlanta going through the mark.
That was the 2nd scrum. So technically a kick here for Toronto.
I know a lot of fans not a huge fan of that new addition. Just one reset, but it's all about keeping the pace of play high. And you see the territory. All Atlanta possession as well. Atlanta close to that at 62% possession so far.
But it's a couple of miscues that have cost them a pair of scores.
Oh, Carlsay dancing.
Finally brought down, ball spills loose. The scrum half initially coming up with it. Now it's Redland Hess.
Big opportunity here for Rugby ATL.
As the fullback, Carlsay on top of it. Out wide to the missile.
Tackler release! Tackler!
Pride of Seattle. Momsen. Another one of the talented South Africans. Grew up with a dad who coached high school rugby.
Good work at the breakdown there. Jans van Rensburg able to clear things up alongside Redland Hess. Quicker to the gain line are the Arrows defensively. A bit of space behind them. We'll see if gives Atlanta the opportunity to kick.
Putting the phases together until that one slips through the hands of the hooker.
Van Rensburg unable to hold on.
Well, don't forget, each and every Tuesday you get to see the smiling faces of those two. As Stacy and Mark look forward to bringing you all the action from this week. As you can tune in 5:30 Eastern on FS2 for MLR All Access.
They've got a lot to talk about.
Prop down, your prop is down.
Particularly in this match. I mean, these two teams currently separated only by point differential. Toronto holds that 33-point advantage. Depending upon how other matches shake out, the winner of this match could conceivably find themselves at the top or the loser at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings.
Of course, they're back in those Austin, Texas studios, and there's a certain MLR team that had been hot in Austin only to see a 4-match winning streak come to a halt today.
Austin, their first ever 4-match winning streak in franchise history, and that is a different Austin side than opponents have been used to seeing through the first 3 years.
Hopefully not too much concern here.
And Leandro Levas there, the Uruguayan, second most capped Uruguayan of all time behind Houston's Diego Magno.
Uruguay was one of the countries.
Yeah, they did behind you. Okay.
You're going to hold that thought. We'll listen in right here.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I'm going to scream for it.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was, thankfully, it was slow enough ball.
What do you want
on that occasion?
Sorry, what do you want from me then taking a hit?
Show me you're trying to hold your feet. So I'll let you go through the mark a little bit, but if you keep going, your loose head just kept going. You ate up all the space. So, yeah, anything reasonable, and it gives me something to work with, doesn't it?
Mentioned the impact that the Arrows have had on Canadian rugby, the Canadian national team. Well, that impact now being felt across the Americas, all the way down to Argentina, Uruguay, Chile. You're seeing these players from every country in the Americas make their way to Major League Rugby and improving the quality, not just of the league, but of those national teams as well.
Well, in year 2 of MLR, we had the ARC that overlapped some, and we saw a lot of South American countries really interested in sending some players up to North America, get some extra competition in.
A lot of Nosteros, the Uruguayan national team players here in Major League Rugby, along with Pumas, the Argentine national side.
And Ross Brody will feed this scrum.
Use it away.
At midfield. Sends one darting across the blades of the artificial grass. This one sent into touch.
A good look there from Brody going to the blind side, saw an opening, a little kick through, but see how quickly the ball moves on this artificial surface.
So a set piece opportunity here on the lineout coming up.
After a frantic opening 10 minutes, things have settled down a bit.
Take the line. On the 50. That's okay, he's moving. Do you take the line? We're asked. Come up. Hooker.
And Quantrum's obligation will be to throw this straight. The advantage for Toronto is knowing whether he's going short or long. Nice job executing by today's designated home team. That was a tricky ball, but Levis was up to the task.
Matt Heaton laying the wood, top tackler.
That's enough. It's enough.
3-1. Bernie. Go close to Chip.
No. Gives you a chance to cool off.
And it's been tricky to play some of these. This time sure-handed.
Beautiful take from Adrian Carlos.
They go back to Momsen. Now the pressure on Toronto.
Great grab, they're able to hold on. Mides had Helou bearing down on him.
Take him back in. Take him back in.
De La Vega able to free things up. The pride of Buenos Aires, one of the men who've represented Argentina's national team.
Come on, get on side.
He's a force, first in Major League Rugby in tackles.
Escura slamming on the brakes and altering course.
Go, Manu.
Dom calls his own number for a meter or two. That one on the full into touch.
Take the opportunity to mention a change on the front row that came a few minutes back as Chance Wingluski, the 24-year-old USA Eagle number 531, has come on.
Well, and of course, one of the great new additions this year, the Rugby Network. And Kit, that first word, F-R-E-E, it is a steal. Chance Star, many of you are watching us live on the Rugby Network, whether it be on your favorite mobile device. Last week, added to the Roku family as well. A great way for us to go back and re-watch matches, including the first time these two teams met all the way back in week 1.
Oh, just an incredible thing for fans across the globe to be able to watch these matches. And I know a lot of friends and family, be them in New Zealand, South Africa, South America, able to watch their players here in Major League Rugby.
I'm being told that if you watch every Pete Steinberg segment this season, you are allowed to print out a
good clear out, good contest
doctorate in rugby. You just have to pay for the frame and the printer that prints it out.
That's still a deal.
What a resource to tap into.
Oh, what a tackle, meeting him there. Momsen, big hit.
Pressure, Billy, pressure.
Okay.
What does Toronto have in mind? All the scoring happening early in the first 10 minutes. Toronto actually scored both of its tries down a man.
It's a fair call, but
and we've got a big collision here in midair. Cause for concern.
It's just a knock on. Two guys coming for the ball. It's just a knock on.
JP Doyle saying both trying to make a play, just a knock on.
For the ball. You two, he's jumped into the same space.
Take another look.
Tackle you in the air.
So was the ball.
Levas.
Can you please call it loud?
No, I can't. Not your coach.
There alongside Roy Van Voet.
What JP Doyle was looking at there was both men were actually playing the ball. It wasn't an attempt to tackle another guy in midair.
It's a meter out.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
And every rule in rugby has its origins either in keeping the game moving or player safety. So when a guy goes airborne, you can't try to tackle him until he comes back down to earth. But that was not a tackle attempt as deemed by a referee. Instead,
really
just
trying
to play a 50-50 ball in the air.
Keep an eye on that side, Billy.
You know, you're going forward last time, so.
First try of the day went the way of Rugby ATL. Since then, Toronto 14 unanswered. Our scoreboard operators enjoyed a brief vacation.
No scrum.
As we've seen some volleys back and forth now.
There's no delay. Let's go, please, boys.
Even though Rugby ATL trails, they have the majority of the possession, the majority of the territory. And you said it like it had not been for the miscue. And I don't know if that was a miscue from Carlos. Maybe tried to do a bit too much. Charge down in the try from Shepard. Make quick work on that second. Massage ultimately the one who dotted it down.
Fine.
Steady.
With those two instances, the possession has been for the Rattlers.
As Brody again will send it into the scrum as now it emerges.
Great work, met quickly.
He's not last off the body of Atlanta. Don't go forward.
Somehow got a boot into that one.
Wait there, 5. No, come away, come away.
Fire and Ice Cup. Second meeting between these two teams who, again, have been dubbed as roommates this year, both sharing Life University's field here and some other facilities in this unique season. A little disappointed it wasn't the Bert and Ernie Derby. I welcome other suggestions with all of your favorite famous roommates over the years.
I heard a Morgan Mindy, I believe, earlier.
Stacy Page chimed in with that one. I think she and I both also were fans with another American who hosted an international, and Cousin Larry and Balky. Some of these references might be a little dated. Feel free to tweet at us your preferred roommate combo. That ball goes backwards, and after I say that, that's a knock-on. Rugby ATL is going to play an advantage here. O'Keefe right into Lesage.
Big tackle from Lesage needed to.
Advantage over, knock on.
Turned over.
And that advantage has come to a halt. Rugby ATL has to play clean now with no plan B.
Yeah, offside, good call.
Escura.
That's what he does best, breaks the line.
Tackler, never release.
Okay. And just the infractions piling up on Toronto.
Scrum half was 10, scrum half was 10.
Quick restart. Does Jans van Rensburg have another? Or are we bringing this back
Scrum
down?
half went back 10, came forward.
It was a close one.
They're going to bring it back down. Obviously, the concern now for the downed arrow.
Great heads-up play there from Ron Hollis.
On the other side.
Scrum
Come this
half.
side again. I'm chasing sides here.
Take another look. Quick tap and go. Knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. 25-year-old South African, and just held up, it appears.
Yeah. Fresh out. Yeah, fresh out.
That ball held up, so it comes back out 5 meters. Opportunity still alive for Rugby ATL, but boy, you are so close. And again, the concern right now for Cortez, who was shaken up even before that final push.
Yeah, that's Lucas Rumble, the open side flanker, the 25-year-old out of Ontario, 35 caps with the Canadian national team, and he leads Major League Rugby in breakdown steals, one of the top tacklers, the former Balmy Beach man. And talk about original arrows, he is certainly one of them as well. And
yeah, pardon me, one of the captains you mentioned leads the league with 16 breakdown steals. Second best in the league has 5.
Second defensive ruck arrivals, third in tackles. He is a force.
Appears like the captain will be able to continue.
Big here with just about 10 minutes remaining in the first half.
So again, the ball held up, bring it back out 5 meters.
Chance for Rugby ATL to cut into this Arrows lead. See if they can get a big push here from the boys in the engine room.
See the change up front for Rugby ATL and Wengluski, as Kit mentioned earlier, the Tulsa native, man who's worn the red, white, and blue already. We're here at Life University. He went to another good one in Lindenwood.
And 2 powerhouse programs.
Looking for a window, able to apply just enough pressure to secure the 5.
And who else but the local boy, the number 8, Jason Dahm, born right here in Marietta, raised in South Carolina. USA U20 man doing a great job, saw the opportunity, used that big 6'5", 250-pound frame, could not be stopped, and finds the try for Atlanta.
The MLR veteran, just 26 years young. Time to add him to the Wikipedia page of big timers from Marietta, GA.
Conversion good.
And the conversion this time able to split the sticks. Rugby ATL, despite the miscues that surrendered 14 points, they had kept that deficit at 9. And now all of a sudden back within a score, down by a pair.
Don doing a great job. Just Will able to reach it out, dots it right on the line. A heads-up play and a great response from Atlanta.
Ball sent back over to Rugby ATL. Yeah.
Back and forth here through the first 30 minutes. You'd expect nothing less. Two teams as evenly matched as these.
That's a tough angle. It'll go in touch. Toronto wisely playing it so that it wouldn't be a knock-on if mishandled.
Yeah, that time the Uruguayan going for that Hank Aaron over the shoulder catch. Here in Atlanta, why not? Couldn't come up with it.
So here's Jans van Rensburg with the most recent set piece for the side that joined the league last year, went 2-3 in their first season before everything was shut down. Rugby ATL, one of the 3 new additions last year to make this league even stronger.
For the first time in Eastern Conference and Western Conference, the winner of each will play each other. That's exactly how it should be.
Tapped back before being booted forward by Levis.
Looks like Levis not quite sure what to do in that situation. That ball just found him, and the smart thing, relieving a bit of pressure.
Or staff member purchase your ticket. Minutes are counting down. We will be picking a winner at halftime.
And Toronto went 11-5 in that first season on the strength of a second half of a schedule where they were home and really took advantage. And all the way to the semifinals last year, picked right back up where they left off, winning 4 of their 5 matches, finished second best record in Major League Rugby.
Well, it's a double-edged sword playing so many matches on the road early on, but then you have those home matches to in the regular season, and that may be a huge benefit.
Each team halfway to the try bonus at the moment here in Marietta, Georgia. Who can secure the victory, and today, who can secure the silverware?
See if either one of these sides can really take the final 5 minutes and put some more points on the board heading into the sheds.
Pat Parfrey with a touch there for a moment. In his 14th career appearance here in MLR.
Parfrey somehow able to do that as well as he's in the doctoral program getting his PhD in clinical epidemiology at the University of Newfoundland. Talk about a busy schedule.
Seems relevant. And again, another one that will touch the Georgia sky. Finally comes down. Well played into the arms of Carlson.
And good chase from Montero right there immediately. Oh, stolen away. Good work by Toronto.
As it spills loose. Can O'Keefe scoop it up? He thinks he sees an angle. And we're off to the races. O'Keefe with 1 man to beat. Extra lunge is not going to do it. Or is it? Oh, they're going to give it to him.
He wasn't wrapped up. Mark O'Keefe, the Irishman, so easy to pick out with that shock of dyed blonde hair. And we've seen him a few times this season, the 27-year-old came through that Connacht program. Beautiful job, finds himself with it, cuts through.
O'Keefe able to stay on his feet, get within the 5 meters, finally taken down, and had enough in him.
Still trying to catch his breath after that 50-meter run. What a response. Atlanta, they found the opener, then they conceded 2. They were down 14-5, and since all the points have been for Rugby ATL.
I'm a little confused. If you're the designated road team, do you still just want to split the points? Or do you need to win if it happens to be your home address? As another one of your law variations, the 1 minute clock this year. Just a little bit of encouragement to pick up the pace on the kick. No easy feat here. But it'll take more than a penalty goal to level the board now.
Great conversion from a difficult angle. Take another look. Ball knocked through. It was knocked away. O'Keefe there and knifing right through the Arrows defense. Mires unable to get the shoestring tackle. And O'Keefe, everything he had to get across.
Not sure if the wind was knocked out of him as he came down onto the pitch. Unfortunately, eventually able to catch his breath.
Give a lot of credit. I believe that was Johan Momsen, 25-year-old out of the Western Cape, who made that tackle on Rumble to dislodge the ball.
Already a higher scoring affair than we saw in week 1 between these two sons.
Unfoot looking inside, trying to find Halou. I don't know that he anticipated that pass coming his way.
Offside against Atlanta.
Offside call. And a line out pending.
Outstanding, entertaining first half thus far.
Still a couple minutes to go. Can Toronto reclaim a lead before these two teams head to the locker room?
I've said it before, Atlanta dominating possession and territory. Toronto needs more with ball in hand. They have that potent offense, stolen away. Good job there from Rugby ATL on the line out.
Perhaps they can stretch it to a 2-score lead. Some young, knowledgeable fans screaming, "Kick it." As Carlos sends it back to the Arrows, they'll return the favor. No, they won't.
And great hands there from Manuel Viana.
Yes, Taylor Adams trying to chew up some meters.
La Pantera trying to get out of his own end.
Montero with a hat trick back in week 6 for half of his 6 tries this year. First ever Arrow to record a hat trick here in MLR.
5 of his 6 tries have come in the last 2 weeks. He has really come on. So far, ATL's been able to shut him down.
The missile with the offload.
Oh, what a pass there, Ridlin Hayes from Momsen.
I believe Toronto playing an advantage here after a knock-on from Rugby ATL.
Yeah, it looks like Martin Ridlin Hayes unable to hold on.
That'll do it for the opening half. What a half it was. Rugby ATL struck first, only to see the Arrows score a pair of tries.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remember to stay socially
The team from right here in Marietta, Georgia, with the inside track to the first ever Fire and Ice Cup. We have reached halftime as Rugby ATL 19, the Arrows 14.
Hello and welcome to the Halftime Report presented by Geico. From our studios, I'm Stacey Pates alongside Mark Stabina. Round 8 rolls on, but let's talk about what else is coming up, shall we?
OG DC at Utah. DC competed hard at the breakdown against LA last week, 26 steals, and Fernando Schultz at the head of that. He's second in the league in that department at the moment. Lance Williams returns to wreak havoc and provide go forward for Utah and those dynamic, classy, speedy backs of theirs.
Ooh, and Lance Williams is hype. He's got me ready for this matchup as well. What's going on tomorrow? Well, we're going to tell you right now. 1 o'clock, LA, New York, and at 8 p.m., San Diego and Seattle. And that San Diego-Seattle rivalry began when the league was started.
Yes, but LA, undefeated, of course, and New York coming off a big win as well for them on the road. Defense is key in this match, especially for New York. The Giltinis are averaging 47 points per game. And here are your two top defenders for each team. Will Leonard for New York and Christian Poitevin. Expect to see him everywhere as per usual. Now over to Seattle, taking on San Diego on the road. Injury has ravaged San Diego, and they'll be looking to Bjorn Basson to provide that spark he's been doing all season. For Seattle, Ross Neal relishing his move to the wing, scoring twice against New York. Look how evenly matched up these two are. A perfect representation of this clash. A championship replay of 2019. Who will emerge the victor?
It's going to be interesting. Back at Starfire Stadium is Ross Neal and the Seawolves. Stay with us. More to come right after this. With May being Mental Health Awareness Month, Major League Rugby has partnered with USI and Project Healthy Minds to break the stigma around mental health. All month long, MLR athletes are speaking about what mental fitness means to them. Fans can join the conversation on social media with MLR Mental Fitness.
Yeah, for me, I like to start off pretty chill. You know, go for a swim, relax, get in a headspace. Like to do a bit of meditation, you know, a few breathing techniques just to get my mind clear. Go over a few notes, go over the game plan. Just so when I'm fatigued, I actually know what's happening. Be able to do the next roll, next step. And then whenever there's a break, feeling fatigued, I think it's just good to just take a couple of deep breaths, get a bit of clarity of what's happening, get your heart rate, slow it down a bit and you feel good. And then just focus on the next step.
Well, from the start, I think, you know, I'm an early riser, so on game days, I always wake up early, you know, take the dogs out, try to slowly ease my mind into rugby. I don't want to be thinking about rugby the whole day.
And then once I get to the game, I start going through my roles, start preparing, okay, what's my first task? And I write down like a few goals. I normally write around 3 that my dad sends to me. It's normally around tackling, communication, or, you know, being able to communicate with the guys on the inside for their roles.
Play little video games, and then as the time gets closer to the game, you know, music's always on. And then I start finding tune of what my job is, what I need to do to help my team be successful.
Mental health is invaluable. Mark, what does mental fitness mean to you?
Well, Stacey, for me, it's all about a balanced life. It's developing self-awareness and not just preparing for the victories and the highs in life, but how are we handling and what are we doing with the defeats and the low points?
I love that.
After the break, we'll have plenty more game action for you.
Today's coverage brought to you by Barber Orthopedics, title partner and official medical care provider of Rugby ATL, led by Scott Barber, MD. They provide comprehensive surgical and non-surgical services to Atlanta area patients in their 5 locations. Barber Orthopedics, exceptional care for an active life. And by Cobb Veterans Memorial Foundation and Rugby ATL have partnered together to build and maintain a memorial to honor and say thank you to our United States Armed Forces and their families for their service and sacrifices, no matter where or how they served. And that starts right here in Cobb County, Georgia. Kit, an eventful first half. Points on the board early.
It was indeed Rugby ATL. They were on the front foot. They were able to find the maul early on. Jan van Rensburg found the opener, missed conversion, and then charged down. Adrian Carlson tried to do a bit too much. And the big lock, Mike Shepard right there, charges it down and dots it down.
Conversion was good, giving Toronto its first lead of the day. They wouldn't be content. They found insurance soon after.
They were indeed. Gaston Mida's fantastic run right here. Then he found the offload to the captain, Ben Lesage, able to dot it down. And then right back the other way came Rugby ATL. Jason Dahm across for 5, a successful conversion. But they weren't done yet. Rugby ATL, after they dug themselves an early hole, 14-5, they came back, and Mark O'Keefe, beautiful work in the open field, knifing through the defense. Taylor Adams unable to make the tackle. Mida's doing everything he could, but the shoestring not enough, and able to get across was O'Keefe. Another successful conversion. 19-14, Rugby ATL battling back to take the lead at the break.
So laying it all out there. Here's some of the numbers that stand out. Take a look at the meters.
Well, possession early on, it was all Rugby ATL. At one point, it was almost 65% in favor of Atlanta. Toronto battled back to get more later in the first half, but territory still for Rugby ATL, and you said it, the meters almost 2-1 in favor of the Rattlers.
This was a 21-14 final back in week 1 when these two teams squared off here. Ultimately, a victory for Rugby ATL as they started off on the right foot this season. And back in the driver's seat now, up by 5, 1 try away from a try bonus. Take a look at the standings. We mentioned some of the movement. NOLA Gold able to move ahead of Austin into second place behind that team in LA that's proven to be pretty good. We'll see them back in action tomorrow.
And you see these two teams right there at 7-8, as tight as things are. The only separation, the point differential, and Toronto holds that advantage.
Make some noise! Let 'em hear you!
Second half underway on the campus of Life University. And Toronto looking to quickly erase the 5-point deficit. Already inside the 22.
A great start here, getting Pantera Montero a quick touch. They have those talented wings and backs through the arrows. They need to get them more opportunities, ball in hand, in the second half.
Atlanta able to regain its footing, now starting to stiffen up. Slowly pushing Toronto backwards. Back to Quatrin. Oh, well laid out. That wound up with Mason Flesh, the lock.
Yeah, the big man from Coburg, outstanding last week, 14 tackles in his first full 80-minute shift, getting involved on the attack. Slower here, and it's giving Atlanta the opportunity to set things up defensively. And they're quicker to the breakdown and get that ball out cleanly. Puts pressure on the defense. Oh, what a tackle. I say that bounces off, does Helou, but still there, able to stop things.
Eli Helou, one of the few changes in the starting 15 today for Atlanta, for head coach Scott Lawrence.
Oh, Heaton always in the mix defensively. Seems like if the ball's bouncing around. Oh, excuse me, that was, my apologies, that was Johan Momsen.
Penalty to Atlanta for a side entry from Toronto.
Coming in from the side to play that ball. And let's see if Atlanta is able to set up a line out here.
In Atlanta, they dictated the first half. They had the possession, they had the territory. Those two Toronto tries came within just 6 minutes of each other, but with that exception, it was Atlanta dictating the pace and style in the first half, and that's what they want to continue to do here in the second.
So set piece just inside the red zone. Jans van Rensburg, who got the scoring started today.
Accurate throw, nice take from Helou, quickly sets up the maul.
A charging maul, where will it stop? Jans van Rensburg thinking about a brace, he's got it.
And that is just how they drew it up. Marco Jans van Rensburg with a bullet throw to Vili Helou. They set up the maul. The big men there, they get the push. They get close to the line. Jans van Rensburg As soon as he sees that try line, it takes it, peels off, and dots it down for his second of the match. Absolutely picture perfect, a textbook try from Atlanta.
The South African had 2 tries all season. He's already matched that here today, and they have already locked up a try bonus point. Will they find another 4 points with a victory?
One of our questions coming into this match, would Toronto be able to match the physicality, as Adrian Carl said, easily splits the uprights with the conversion? Would Toronto be able to match the physicality? And you see the big man, the power in the engine room from the Rattlers. Jan van Rensburg just keeps the legs churning across, dives underneath Manuel Viana. Nothing the Uruguayan number 8 can do.
We'll give a little props to the props, shall we not?
Always good to see front rowers score.
Yes, he was following some of the bigger bodies. And a line out here for Quatrin.
And almost a...
Let's see, actually, line out coming up. Go ahead.
I was going to say almost exactly what we saw to start the game. 4 minutes in, Rugby ATL able to find the try. It was a driving ball. It was Van Rensburg with the 5. Same thing here to start the second half.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen the indication that it was in fact the line out for Atlanta. Quatrin, though, seemed game to play it. O'Keefe, already 1 try today.
Great fend and nice break from O'Keefe, still making meters.
That's his 5th try on this season when he was able to dot it down in the midst of that opening half.
Carry there from Waitokia, 25-year-old Kiwi.
Toronto able to recover. And Gaston Mier is the fullback, the 31-year-old out of Uruguay. A couple of Sevens World Cups, a pair of Rugby World Cups as well. There were 20 MLR matches under the belt of the fullback for Toronto.
Good ball there, Skura finding Van Voet.
7th match on the year for Rory. One of your top wings for Rugby ATL. Tom.
Oh, good work. Gluski quickly there, but held on, and maybe not quick enough. Maybe I jumped the gun a bit. Did not release.
Holding on to the ball, penalty to Toronto.
Atlanta turns it over.
Again, our referee today, JP Doyle, heading up our crew with Cisco Lopez and Dave Edwards. They're in Marietta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. Taylor Adams will send this one into touch. Just outside the 5. It's about 15 meters out.
A nice offload there, Momsen able to find Dom, the number 8, already with a try. Fantastic work at the breakdown from Toronto, able to get there, held on to by ATL in the turnover, and now Toronto in a good position here if they can get a clean line out.
If you're wrapped up, have to free up that ball in a timely manner to keep this game moving.
See some of those men from that 404 development project. A lot of talent coming through this pipeline in Atlanta.
Flash will secure this one. Little indecision. Rory Van Voet helps make the decision for the arrow.
Closed down nicely by ATL, but bunched together 2 tightly worthy arrows.
And again, a turnover for Atlanta.
Another breakdown steal.
Knew the contact was coming, still secured that ball. Able to hand it off to Spencer Jones.
Great work there from Mires. As you said, knew the contact was coming, still held on.
Shepard.
Better here from Toronto, and if Rugby ATL is going to bring that line so close up, they need to go to the boot more often, as they did in this occasion.
See if we have a knock on here on Toronto on that loose ball, trying to scoop it up for the quick score.
Look there at Mason Flesh. St. Mary's Secondary School there in Coburg. Coaches call him an Ontario guy through and through.
ATL's official coffee partner, Chattahoochee Coffee Company. A portion of all Chattahoochee Coffee Company's proceeds go towards the development of youth rugby.
About 70 degrees here today. It can feel warmer on an artificial surface with the sun that's been beating down throughout the day, with few clouds impeding it.
I think it's safe to say this is one of the few matches where there is no home field advantage for either side.
Or maybe both sides. And we have seen, again, due to some circumstances, just some big collisions today.
And some massive collisions, and a lot of those have come off the kicks. That last one, Carlos said, just unable to bring it in.
Unofficial hydration break for some of our participants. So we're less than 8 minutes into the second half. And again, tune in every Tuesday on Fox Sports 2 to catch Major League Rugby's official TV show, MLR All Access. Mark and Stacy, great ones, will cover every moment of the action-packed weekend in under 30 minutes and highlight everything MLR. Don't miss out on America's only rugby TV show.
No change at scrum half. Rugby ATL bringing on Ryan Reese, a 23-year-old out of Austin, Texas.
Big man brought down 22 meters out. Track down the ball before restarting here at the 22.
And Toronto knows they need to come away with points in this situation. You're inside that red zone at the 22. The deficit has grown to 12.
Can Toronto find a success with the same driving maul that we saw lead to the last try for Rugby ATL? And Kit, I know the choice for you is either do laundry or go ahead and just buy some more wardrobe.
That's not a choice.
Great choice. Shopmlr.com. All of your favorite gear.
I like that Rugby ATL shirt with the rattler on it. It's good looking. Oh, Escuda able to get by one, couldn't get by the second and the third.
Well, you know that early charge down just continues to sit in the back of their head every time they put a foot into the ball.
You're exactly right. Something Atlanta very cognizant of. Shepard lurking. Would love to charge down another if he can.
This time they have space. Up ahead, about 35 meters.
Bautista Escuda. 5 caps with the Pumas, former Barbarians man. A lot of these guys played internationally for the Canadian national team, the Uruguayan national team, the Argentine national team. They know each other.
Certainly know each other now.
Now getting to face each other, and you're right.
In this unique season.
They've been roommates more or less for the last few months.
Again, it is just not feasible for the Arrows to go across the U.S.-Canadian border on a weekly basis. Obviously, the average traveler is experiencing multiple weeks of quarantine. Quick restart here.
Great work clearing out there from Lesarge.
So Arrows had to set up shop here in the States.
Poor pass from Montero. Mires there to retain possession for Toronto.
Fire and Ice Cup today on the line, commemorating this partnership between these two teams for the sake of healthy competition. Trying to keep that ball in play. Trying to avoid being dragged out into touch.
That's the second time we've seen Manu Montero brought out into touch. Has not released it. Such an impressive player. Has the size, the experience, the speed. You see it again right there. Just 3 Atlanta defenders there. Beautiful job defensively. Bring La Pantera out They have effectively shut him down in this match. We mentioned his hat trick in week 6, 2 tries against NOLA. He's been a non-factor thus far.
Just about 12 minutes into this second half, Rugby ATL able to expand its advantage. Toronto had those 14 straight points all in the opening 12 minutes or so of this match. Scoreless since then.
It has been all Atlanta since. Toronto try in the 8th minute, won 3 minutes later. They have not had very many opportunities since then, really. We mentioned the territory, the possession, well in favor of Rugby ATL, and they've taken advantage.
Toronto has a road swing coming up down to Houston and back up to New England. While Rugby ATL will host New England this next week before venturing up to the Great Northwest into that hostile territory where Seattle fans have had to wait the bulk of the season so far to finally welcome the Seawolves home.
Man, the Seawolves finally back at home there at Starfire in Tukwila.
Toronto has numbers and an opportunity here. The final layoff, and still waiting for the indication.
Fans, that's a try for Toronto.
And it is Toronto able to get back on the board.
And Gaston Mires with the try, and it was great work. Lesarge involved, as was Levas. And good work going through hands quickly. Nice passing. And then the 31-year-old Uruguayan able to dot it down, finishes it off. Does the 2-time World Cup man for Los Dedos. That is the response that Toronto desperately needed after being held scoreless since the 10th minute of the first half.
So they're already back within 1 score, down by 7. They would feel a little bit better if they could add this conversion and bring it within 5. In 3rd year in the league for Toronto. Only missed out on that inaugural campaign. And it'll remain a 7-point discrepancy. Another look here.
Now you take another look. Good ball outside, collected by Lesage. Then on to Levas. Levas, that final offload, and Mires does the rest. Van Voet on his shoulder, but that wasn't going to stop him. Van Voet there just a bit too late. Tries to fend him off and realizes he's got enough to get to the try line. Does Gaston Mires.
The only change for Toronto was back there with wing and fullback. Here's a wing, and the loss in New Orleans, sliding over to fullback here today.
Well, Jason Higgins has come on as scrum half, the 26-year-old out of Cork Island. He has been outstanding the last few weeks, and he will take over for Ross Brode. Also appears that Nitz Hideka coming on as well, taking the place of Vili Halou.
So multiple changes as we're still in the first hour of play.
It's been back and forth. Fantastic match comes off the head there of Higgins.
Would have been a tough knock on to take. Diana.
Well, Diana first in the league and carries 2nd in meters. But he and Montero really haven't had that many opportunities. Montero has had more than Diana.
Again, your scrum half now in the game for Toronto, Jason Higgins, the pride of Cork, Ireland. Tommy De La Vega still going strong.
Yeah, De La Vega always a factor on both sides. Higgins there, and you see a spring in the step of the Arrows after cutting this to a 5-point game.
Whistle for JP Doyle.
Toronto's advantage for an offsides.
ultimately the advantage played out on the offside. So we'll see what Toronto has in mind. Likely kicking to touch, set up another line out.
Adams, the former Melbourne Rebel man there in Super Rugby. Now his second year, Van Voort looking for the acrobatic save, but unable to keep it in.
That one dipping inside the 5, unable to preserve it and deny the line out. Big opportunity here. Coming up. Down by 7. That equalizer could be just on the horizon, 5 meters out. You need a clean toss here on the line out. Secure it and get that driving maul going.
They get the first step.
Atlanta providing resistance. Toronto just unable to get those legs churning. They'll have to free it up. Ball pops loose. What a break. Rugby ATL, Jason Dom comes up with it.
Yeah, just too much on the pass to Lesage. From that close proximity, just couldn't hold on. Arrows fans have to be very pleased with what they've seen here in the first 18 minutes of this second half. Atlanta able to win the penalty. Dom there in the breakdown. He's been a real force in this match. Already has a try. Marietta born man, South Carolina raised, former Clemson Tiger.
That's going to take us to our final hydration break. As Rugby ATL right now sitting on a 7-point lead after the most recent response from Toronto. A good one brewing for the hardware here in the Fire and Ice Cup. A reminder, the Transplant Games of America and Team Georgia have joined forces with Rugby ATL to support organ, eye, and tissue donation. Save a life by registering to be a donor today at www.registerme.org/TGA. So final hydration break here in Marietta, Georgia, home of Rugby ATL, and this year home as well to the Toronto Arrows. Arrows, the most recent try, unsuccessful conversion, leaves them 7 points shy of the opposition today. There's still 20 minutes to go. Rugby ATL already with a try bonus point locked up. Still 4 points on the line for a straight-up victory today.
And you see another change there for Rugby ATL. Jonas Petrakopoulos comes on in the front row, taking over for Vickers Grunwald.
We were playing a little footy there for a moment, back and forth. We'll bring this back.
Very even for both these two teams. Turnovers, though. Atlanta, they've conceded 10, only 6 for the Arrows. Big differences. And you're right, indeed. Diana, the big man, maybe shades of his childhood there in Uruguay, getting a touch to it.
No forward passes with the arms or upper extremities, but the boots are all game.
Numerous changes. The reserves bench starting to be emptied. Higgins, we mentioned, who's come on. Very interesting story there for Higgins, who signed with Rugby United New York, but unable to get his visa. And then a really classy move. Rugby United, they let him know that he had Canadian citizenship, did the Arrows, and so the Arrows able to take advantage of his services.
Oh, a timely offload. Is this the opportunity Toronto's been waiting for? The Swash frees this one up. Can Atlanta stay disciplined? Mears with the timely offload and a high tackle from behind brings down Levis into touch. See how this one plays out. You understand the tensions there.
Yeah, Mira is taking exception. His countrymen brought down around the neck.
Fans through G in
reminder, these guys see a lot of each other even when it's not match day.
It's time for a giveaway. A 50% coupon to the online store.
Connor Keys out there as well, the 24-year-old out of Stittsville, Canadian international. He knows this Arrows side well, knew them well even before their. Take another look there, and obviously tried to let go, but up around the neck of Levas, and it was Midas who came over.
It's not enough.
Everyone getting involved.
Get on your feet, let's go! And we have a
Now you see him up there pointing to the shoulder and going up to the head. You've got to keep it low. I wonder if JP Doyle is saying that he just ducked.
Yeah, JP, the mitigating factor, the tackle he saw start at the shoulders and then, due to the circumstances, slide up around the head and neck area. Still an opportunity for Toronto to capitalize.
Spencer Jones out there as well, the Canadian-born, New Zealand-raised product.
Toronto could very easily be riding a 3-match win streak into today, but they saw that one in New Orleans slip away after victories against Seattle here. And again, Seattle remembers that matchup. That was a little too early for the lopsided beating that was provided by Toronto. They went up on another success story in New York as well.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker against NOLA, up 14-0. They downshifted, put it in cruise control, and back came the goal for that come-from-behind victory.
Arrows need to continue playing clean here and avoid stubbing their toe while eyeing that try zone.
All of a sudden, for the first time in the match, possession in favor of Toronto, and that's because of what they've done here through the first 21 minutes of the second half.
That line it among the options off the bench who have come on.
Oh, Levas, what a job breaking through. O'Keefe finally able to bring him to ground.
Taking some rattlers with him.
Rumble, a big tackle from Waitokia.
JP Doyle keeping Atlanta on side.
Oh, Diana able to get those legs going.
Trailing by 7. Right now eyeing 5 from 5 meters down. Another 4 meters to go.
And right through, no one picking up Tommy De La Vega, and that is one man you could not leave unmarked, the blindside flanker. De La Vega, no one there, and that is one of the easier tries that the Argentine has scored.
The 33-year-old brings his mates within a conversion of tying this one here in the 63rd minute.
Buenos Aires native looked up, no one was there. It took him a second to realize that he was going to go in untouched.
So a big kick coming up. Taylor Adams. It's a brand new ball game.
26-all. Take another look at the try from De La Vega. Right through, no one there. And you see the hands up from Jeremy Misiligalo. Who's going to get him? No one is the answer. Right through, just beautiful heads-up play. Saw the opening wide. And the attorney, De La Vega, dots it down for 5. Successful conversion from Adams, and we are knotted at 26.
So inside 16 minutes to go, how will this one play out? Will Atlanta complete a sweep this year in this budding rivalry? Or will Toronto be able to match that opening weekend victory for Atlanta with one of their own, and along the way claim the first ever Fire and Ice Cup? Another charge down, deja vu, but this time at least recovered by Van Voot.
Very fortunate to be recovered by Atlanta in that situation. It was the same spot meters away from that try line.
Oh, it would have given Toronto another lead.
Shepard found that first try for the Arrows via charge down try. And right now momentum firmly on the side of the men in the white and blue hoops.
Not a lot gained here. In this battle for real estate in the final 15 minutes.
Fans, tonight we would like to welcome some visitors.
We don't want to find out what happens if they split the points and play to a draw today. I have not seen a chainsaw anywhere near that silverware.
Ross Deacon making his way out there. The number 20, the former USA U20 man, now on for Atlanta.
Yeah, born in San Francisco, raised in Ireland, a Life U guy in his own right.
Oh, nice fin off from Diana. Diana rumbling.
Finally brought down.
Yeah, good to see Manuel Diana more involved in the attack.
Back to De La Vega, the man who has helped even this one up.
Higgins, that rumble met immediately by Wingluski.
Able to corral that ball before a knock-on. And no, we do have the knock-on call.
And Lesage thought he had it.
Well, by now you should have that email confirming your purchase that you made when we last reminded you about shopmlr.com. Rugby ATL, Toronto Arrows both trying to win you over. Get some merch to cheer on your new favorite team.
Two good-looking kids, that's for sure. But I'm biased.
Yeah. You always talk in the third person? Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico as we wrap up with the 67th minute. And that scrum never had a chance. A mixture of tired bodies along with a few fresh faces up front.
Penalty to Atlanta for off feet by Toronto.
The last 12 points have all been for Toronto.
Well, this one has a chance to be a classic right down to the finish, and don't worry, you'll be able to relive it on the rugbynetwork.com. Live matches as well as archived matches. All easy to access on your favorite device. And the only complaint is there's almost too much content to take in if we're only going to get 7 days each week.
I don't know that anyone's complaining about that.
It might carry over into the offseason with some additional bonus viewing of anything we might have missed. We're still early, though, in the grand scheme of things here in this 2021 campaign.
Oh, Van Voort tried to do a bit too much. He was going out into touch and right into the hands of Levas.
He was looking for his lock. Instead, back over to Toronto.
Just when it looked like ATL was getting a bit of momentum, had a bit of go forward, a turnover.
Higgins puts his boot into this one. The sun has retired. We're under the lights here at Life University, home of Rugby ATL. They have seen Toronto erase a 7-point deficit with the most recent try, courtesy of Tommy De La Vega.
Colby Francis there immediately in a quick whistle.
And I think we have a little blood. Send this one back into touch for a line out.
All to play for, tied up, final 10 minutes, and indeed that's the case in the face of Connor Keys, the Ontario native. He took a shot, did he, from Colby Francis. Two Ontario products, Stittsville and Brantford respectively.
He'll play through it. And ultimately the ball falling the way of Atlanta on otherwise a miscue there on the line out. See Wadden coming on.
He's the Canadian international getting involved and turned over again. Another turnover.
10 minutes, Kit, for the trophy. And to have at least 4 points added in the standings, and really 5. Both teams have now locked up the try bonus.
Both teams need to be careful. As we said, Toronto, they lead the league in penalties awarded. Discipline is going to be paramount in this final 10 minutes.
Pretty good chance whoever does not claim the trophy today, claim the Fire and Ice Cup, will still be grabbing 2 consolation points, as long as this one stays within a score, in addition to the already secured try bonus. Mieres.
Quicker to the breakdown from Toronto. That's what they need. Keep Atlanta on their heels defensively. Right now, Atlanta teeing off and Toronto going backwards.
Atlanta thinks that last feed went forward, not detected, as Toronto continues with the phases.
Higgins, a skyscraper. And it ends up with the arrows.
And just as much of a right for that ball. Exercising the right there.
Big tackle from O'Keefe.
Looking to create a little chaos, but sure-handed is the fullback, Carlson. And just like that, 8 minutes to go in this nail-biter.
Tied at 26. It's been a back-and-forth affair. You couldn't ask for anything more in the inaugural Fire and Ice Cup. Saw McRogers briefly. He came on in that first 10 minutes when Quatron saw yellow, and that was just 3 minutes in. Now he's replaced Quatron as the hooker for Toronto.
Yeah, he had that try in the first 2 minutes against Atlanta back in week 1 to start the season off on the right foot when he got the start in that matchup. Comes off the bench today at hooker.
Leibus right at Heaton and Van Voort. That's always going to be tough.
Heaton finally able to wrestle him down. O'Keefe
been outstanding on both defense and attack.
Oh, extra man, but steps out of play. appear to be in touch, and this one's coming back.
Yeah, De La Vega put a heel on the sideline, and that was enough. It was a beautiful final ball out to Tommy De La Vega. He thought he was in for 5.
Already one try today. That was of the easier variety.
Assistant referee right there on the spot. Take another look. Higgins, Adams, final ball, and yep, there it is. Right on the sideline was De La Vega.
Now, there was already an offside call. Toronto had been playing an advantage there. They're going to opt to kick. First time today we see them choose to attack the sticks here.
First time either side has elected.
But you understand the decision.
Taylor Adams, 74%. He's 26 of 35 in the goal kicking, 12th in Major League Rugby.
Toronto looking to reclaim an advantage late in this one. Eight penalty goals this year for the 27-year-old. Adams off the tee. Toronto with the lead.
Perfect kick. Taylor Adams able to split the uprights, no trouble, had plenty of distance, the accuracy was there. And with 5 minutes remaining, the Arrows now 3 points ahead. Pressure on, no trouble for Adams. Oh, De La Vega, beautiful take on that. Gets it back for Toronto.
Arrows now just need to avoid any costly miscues.
And on cue, turned over. Parfrey will give way to Will Kelly, 23-year-old.
Saw Kelly capped for Canada's national team back in February of 2019 during the ARC. Saw time against Brazil.
Another Ontario product, a former AAA hockey player. But I'm feeling he's probably not the only one on this roster. Just going to go out and say that.
I haven't seen his smile yet, but I'll believe you. Carlos A with some instructions before giving way to the big man here on the lineout.
Big here for Atlanta, just inside the 22 and knocked away. De La Vega there.
Arrows come up with it. Already up by 3.
De La Vega 4th in the league in lineout takes, and a huge one.
And unable to get a piece of that ball. As Jeremy was thinking about taking advantage of a situation, but simply a line out here for Atlanta.
Massive steal on the line out for De La Vega and Toronto.
A 3-point difference right now on the board. So much we have learned over the years can occur in just a few minutes here in Major League Rugby. The Arrows don't pretend that they have this locked up.
Sought and found. American First Title, Sterling Promotions, Revolution Chiropractic, Academic Pizza, the Marietta Police Athletic League, and the Georgia National Guard.
It's been a fun year though, kid. How many times have we seen a final play swing 4 points one or the other?
Well, it just gives you an idea of the parity from top to bottom in Major League Rugby here in year 4. There are no teams you can take for granted. Anyone can beat anyone if you are not on your A game, and that's what we've wanted this entire time. An Eastern Conference, a Western Conference, and the talent has just grown exponentially.
Atlanta certainly knows that. They witnessed it when they went to Austin back on April 17th. That was their last loss. They could easily be on a winning streak right now, but an offside call set up a Mac Mason game winner at the death. 17-15, Atlanta would fall.
And a loss like that, you'll either crumble or you'll be inspired. In Atlanta, they have been inspired since that last second loss at Austin.
They could easily be 4-2 with a chance to improve to 5 wins today. Right now, trailing by that Successful penalty from Toronto.
Ridlin Hayes, nice carry from the big man. He's quickly there.
Petzer. Robbie Petzer has come on. His 25th match in Major League Rugby, the veteran over the years.
Leads Atlanta in points, does Petzer. South African, potent. It's a great boot from long range.
How will these final 2 minutes unfold? Atlanta trails by 3.
All about playing clean, not making mistakes. Put yourself in a good position if you're Atlanta.
Petzer again frees it up for his scrum half, Reese.
Carl say sandwiched by a pair of arrows.
Yeah, a little indecision, but it hasn't cost Atlanta. Going through another phase.
Atlanta going backwards, back at the midfield stripe now.
Petzer. That ball looked like it spilled forward. And that's going to be, it appears, the end of that effort from Rugby ATL.
And a great defensive stand from the Arrows. They did everything right. They didn't commit penalties. They were in the right place at the right time. Everybody taking care of their jobs. Much improved defensive effort from Toronto in the second half. Pair that with the offensive explosion, and they found themselves ahead by 3.
Another look as Atlanta with an opportunity lost.
Petzer, 25-year-old South African, trying to find Jeremy Misligalu and see the reaction from Petzer. He knows that may well do it.
Getting up next for Atlanta, they stay right here. On the 15th, they'll welcome New England to town, the Free Jacks. Toronto hits the road for a little bit of a road swing. They go to Houston, they'll have a week off, and then up to New England for their next home game on June 6th against the Legion of San Diego.
Legion making the trip up to take on the Seawolves tomorrow night.
Last time we saw that collision, it was for a giant shield.
That's exactly right.
Well, that was in San Diego a few years ago.
2 of those top teams and having a bit of an off year by their illustrious standards. See who can come up victorious.
Arrows still with time for a comeback, or pardon me, to lock this one up.
Diana there, and see Rumble immediately back, having a word with our referee. Diana ruled not to release after he was brought down. Uncharacteristic mistake from the Uruguayan.
Still time for Atlanta. And if you're Toronto, you cannot concede a penalty here down the stretch and allow Atlanta to try to split those sticks and split the points.
Carl say, beautiful kick right there. Put that one out. Now Atlanta, maybe their final opportunity.
About 10 meters down. Will they look to assemble a maul and go driving for a walk-off win here at home? Erica does the honors. Here is that maul. Can Toronto hold?
Oh, what a push defensively from the Arrows, not giving up an inch.
The burden on the Arrows not to pick up a whistle. Petzer. All the tension has built here in the final moments.
Oh, Dom Deacon there as well.
Inside 5 meters. 5 meters separating Atlanta from a comeback and a trophy to prove it.
Deacon just shy.
1 meter away. Again at the death, will it be Rugby ATL? Snatching the victory away from Toronto. JP Doyle keeps his close eye. Not this time. And there it is. Atlanta back on top just in the nick of time.
Ross Deacon, the substitute at the pylon, able to dot it down. The Arrows defense standing strong. They turned away the first few attempts. Dom couldn't get across, and Deacon saw the opportunity. The San Francisco-born Irish Rays number 8 takes it across and dots it down to put Atlanta on top.
Oh, he's had some great memories here over the years when he played for Life U. Now as a professional representing the community of Atlanta. They'll tack on another pair. Rugby ATL upon the final whistle. They will complete the sweep of their roommates and pick up a trophy along the way. We'll step aside. Fire and Ice Cup staying here. We knew that much, but it is going the way of Rugby ATL. A chat with the man of the match when you rejoin us. What a battle. Rugby ATL comes back to take the first ever Fire and Ice Cup. And the man who was able to dot it down for what proved to be the game-winning try is with us now, our man of the match, Ross Deacon. Ross, you've had some great memories on this field. Where does this rank among them?
To be honest with you, it's got to be right up there with the top. I mean, we left it to the very last minute, but I think it's just credit to the boys. Like we never gave up. We were just fighting till the end, and it shows in the end. You know what I mean? With the result, we never laid down, and that's something that we're all about is hard work. So it's yeah, I can't congratulate each one of these boys enough. Like, you know what I mean? It's just 80 minutes of hard work. So
Ross, the inaugural Fire and Ice Cup, the first match between these two here for the Cup. Talk to us a little bit about the relationship between the Arrows and Rugby ATL.
Yeah, I mean, it's last year. I mean, they kind of gave us a bit of a showing down here, and they beat us down here on our own turf. And this year, I mean, it means that little bit more. You're kind of encountering these guys because we're sharing the same facilities and stuff. We're sharing the same gym. You're kind of seeing these guys pretty often, and to get 2 wins out of 2 is huge. So. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to be able to give them a little look and a bit of a wink in the corridor the next day, I suppose. But yeah, it's good.
Well, we're going to let you go celebrate with your mates. Congratulations! What a well-disciplined comeback there in the final minutes.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
And Kid, again, those closing moments. If Atlanta doesn't play clean rugby there in those closing moments, if they hear a whistle intervening, all of a sudden it's Toronto being interviewed right now, taking the cup.
You said it. Adam is able to make that penalty kick from 45 meters out at the 75th minute. That gave them the 29-26 lead. And if Atlanta didn't play clean, if they didn't take care of the ball, they weren't going to have a shot. They did just that. Deacon was able to dot it down. And Rugby ATL with the victory in the inaugural Fire and Ice Cup.
What a battle it proved to be, the second and final meeting between these sides. If they meet for a third time, Kit, there will be some other hardware on the line in the postseason. But for now, the bragging rights reside in Marietta, Georgia with Rugby ATL. What a battle tonight in Major League Rugby. Already looking forward to what Week 9 can do to top this.